All right, so on page 125 of Grenade, we're starting to see a real change in Hideki here. He's being forced to fight. Remember, he was hiding in the cave with the Japanese soldiers that were saying, "Hey, we're going to attack." And he kept saying, "This feels like a suicide mission. This isn't worth it." So he's being forced, and instead, he ducks away to go hide further back in the cave. And the lieutenant's not having that. Remember, you can't be captured. You have to die in battle. So the lieutenant's plan is really to kill him. He starts firing his gun, but he misses, which, ironically enough, makes you wonder how safe this guy would be in battle if he's missing the kid that's in the cave with him. But he's missing, and while the noise is loud and it's intense, the lieutenant has looked away. He's closed his eyes, and Hideki realizes he might be able to escape through the air shaft. So, all these caves, you have to have some sort of ventilation for it to continue with the oxygen. So, they have carved out air shafts or like tunneled in. And he's able to get into these air shafts to escape. Now, the lieutenant sees him and tries to fire at him, but again misses. And so Hideki is able to get out of the cave and he's safe, but he realizes this isn't what he wants. His dad was right. Remember when his dad kept saying this was pointless, that he's not gonna, the Japanese don't really need them or want them. The Japanese are never gonna win this. He's starting to realize that that's actually true. And he just lays there and he cries. It says he cries for the Okinawans that he saw get strapped with explosives. Like, they didn't have a choice. The lieutenant strapped them down with bombs and sent them off to their death. He's crying for Japanese soldiers that are still in that cave and dying, and the lieutenant doesn't seem to care. And he's even crying really for the lieutenant because the lieutenant has to go through all this. It says he just cries out of sheer exhaustion. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, where you've just been so tired, so mentally exhausted that you can't take it, and you just start crying. He's supposed to be a young boy, like 12 or 13 years old, and he's encountering all this for the first time. I mean, this is horrific for him. And so he just lays there crying, and as he's doing that, that's when he realizes what his father said. And he puts more detail to it, but he says the Japanese army took a bunch of boys, gave them a couple days training and two grenades, and said, "All right, go fight the American army, the American military that has all this equipment, and they're experienced and trained, and they are a killing machine." It's like, we didn't stand a chance, and the Japanese didn't care one iota about us. They left us there to die because we were just a little barrier for their island. And he's upset about this. So he throws out the emperor's pictures. He's like, "Forget this. I'm not protecting him anymore. I'm going to go surrender." And he sees American soldiers. He sees this glimmer of hope. He's been told he can surrender. But not all American soldiers, and this would be the case with anyone, and I imagine as good as the American soldiers want to be, that they want to accept these surrenders, they have been tricked so many times that when they see somebody, because remember, Hideki's in a Japanese uniform, his uniform was lost, so he had to put on a Japanese uniform. When they see somebody coming at them in a Japanese uniform, it doesn't matter if that person's holding up their hand saying, "Wait, wait, wait." They see an enemy coming at them. And so they go to attack, and Hideki runs off, and he realizes he's got nowhere to turn. He can't really trust anyone, including the American soldiers, and he's kind of feeling lost.